Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Of course, when I'm recording this, it's actually on a Saturday for me. I had such a rough week this past week. I ended up catching a virus, and I was fighting that off all week. Between whatever it was that I had and the heat, it's been so hot up here in Canada. We've been going through a heat wave. I don't know what it's like where you're living, but I was just really dragging myself through this week. But thank you so much for showing up and spending the day with me. So I'm just getting out of bed this Saturday morning and getting myself ready. I've been taking some sinus medication, and boy, it really knocks me down. But I'm pushing myself to get myself ready. I'm putting on my 5-minute face to perk me up and make me feel a little bit better, because I have some things I need to get done this day and just get my house tidied back up. We have some errands to run later, and we're just gonna take you right along with us. So why don't you make yourself a nice cup of tea, or maybe a nice cold lemonade, whatever it is that you'd like to have this morning, and sit back, put your feet up, and just come along. How was your week? Of course, you know I didn't have a great week, but how was your week? Did you have a good week? Is it really hot where you're at right now? It is just really, really difficult when, for my job, you're working at people's houses, and sometimes they have it really nice and cool, and then there's other places that you go and not so comfortable. You kind of get spoiled when you're working in an air-conditioned environment. I feel so bad for people that are out, you see, on the roads and working out in the hot summer days, whether it's in the sweltering heat or the pouring rain. I think of my one son that works outdoors, and some days it's so hot, and I'm always thinking about him and wondering, I hope he's drinking his water. I had a few clients that had difficulties with this heat because they weren't taking care of themselves to make sure that they were staying hydrated. So it's so important as we age to make sure that we're getting enough fluids for the day to make it through. So just a reminder, if it's hot where you are, make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you're not overextending yourself in the extreme heat. So I just finished my 5-minute face, and then I'm going to get ready and start my daily routine. My opening the blinds, letting the beautiful sunshine come in, making up my bed, getting everything tidy in my room. And I always make my bed. It just helps me feel I've put my best foot forward. I love just getting everything kind of organized to start my day. So the first thing I usually do is get up and make my bed. I always make sure, because when I come home, there's nothing worse than seeing an unkept bed. I've always made my bed since I was young, and it's just one of those habits that I've just maintained. And of course, it's a really good positive habit to have. And especially when you come home from work, just tidying up, just doing those few things, it just makes your home such a nice place to come back to at the end of the day. You don't want to have to come back to a mess. So I always try to get up and do the few things to keep a routine going. And I often find when I go to someone's house and I do just a routine cleaning and or organizing. So many times people look forward to have me come because they feel like it just gives them a reset. And so many times when I go to a client's house, for whatever reason, whether it's a maintenance cleaning, whether it's just meal prep, they feel like just having those extra set of hands motivates them because we're just getting things done. We have our routine and they just feel so much better having things put back into place and bed made. This is what I like to see. And of course, my little helper sitting there watching, waiting for me. Oh, she's so cute. And I always try to throw a load of laundry in, big or small. I just like to make sure that I keep up with it. And I usually do one small load either every day or every other day because I don't like to get behind on my laundry. Even when my kids were young, I had a laundry routine to stay ahead of it because when you're raising children, it's so easy to get behind. But I have found through experience, trial and error, how important a routine is. And of course, I homeschooled my kids, so that really made my week, having certain fundamental routines that really kept me from being overwhelmed and just having an environment that I could thrive in, because you do much better in a home that's your sanctuary. And I'm done in the bathroom. I've started my load of laundry and I'm going to get ready here this morning to go out and get the eggs. We have had chickens for many years. I think the first time we got chickens was when our youngest son was around 10, and we got them as little baby chicks and reared them, and our kids got to experience all the different stages and caring for our hens. And of course, when you're raising a family, it is so nice to have farm fresh eggs. And we've had chickens ever since. And now that our kids have all flown the coop, we don't normally eat all the eggs ourselves. So it just gives me an opportunity to bless others with some farm fresh eggs. And there's always somebody that needs eggs. It's just a nice way to give back to your community and maybe help somebody that is struggling. And what a better way to be able to do that. How has your week been? I know this week I was thinking about how important it is to guard our peace, especially when in this world there's so much happening around us that sometimes it seems overwhelming. And I found that this week I was under the weather, I was fighting something, and I was working in the heat, and I would just seem to be worn out. My body was kind of worn down, and I was tired out, and the heat was getting to me. And of course, all the time when we have things going on around us in the news and in the world, and of course we're all going through different things in our personal lives, and we really just sometimes need to guard our peace, get some extra rest, make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And I hope that you're remembering to do that, taking care of yourself in a crazy world that we're living in, finding joy in some of the simple things, everyday things, like making sure that your home is a sanctuary. And that's why I really do try to keep up with my chores, my weekly chores, just staying ahead of things and not letting things pile up, because I need my house to be a sanctuary. It needs to be a safe place. And you know, so many times that people come and visit our home, they come and have coffee or visit us, and they say that. They say, I just love coming to your house. It's just so calm and peaceful here. And I just finished scouring my sink, and I like to finish it off with some baby oil. We have hard water here, and I really just find that keeps a nice protective coating on these fiberglass sinks, and it just makes it look rejuvenated and kind of polished. And I do my silver tap with it as well. It really does help with that hard water. It's just baby oil. And of course, you know me, I've got to have my tea. I hope you made yours, or maybe you're having a nice cold drink today with some ice. That sure sounds good too. This day I did up 3 dozen eggs and got them processed. And I just feel like I'm just going to give my kitchen a quick little wipe down. I'm using this new spray I picked up from Dollar Tree, and it's sage. It's a sage and mint spray, and it's just all-purpose. And I like the smell of it, and I thought that, well, I'd give it a try, and it actually worked pretty good. As you can see, I was just polishing my stove, and of course wiping my counters off, just freshening everything up, because, you know, after the week's gone by, it's just kind of nice to wipe things down and freshen it up. Not that they were like super dirty, but it's just nice to keep up with it and make sure there's no sticky spots or anything like that. And I had a friend lend me her Roomba vacuum, and man, I was addicted. So I went on Marketplace and I bought one for myself. Wow, what a lifesaver for me. I can just push that little button, get my Roomba going, and it's doing its thing, keeping my floors nice. Cat hair, of course, picked up. And these little microfiber cloths I picked up at Giant Tiger, and they're for glass and stainless steel. And as you can see here, I'm using them on my countertop. I'm going to polish my taps, and I've even started using them on my mirrors. And wow, just, you know, it's just a quick way to keep up with things. I don't have to use any chemicals like Windex. It's so nice to find products like this that you can just whip out, you know, use water, and it does a nice job. It keeps things clean and tidy. It's fast. And I like to find things like this because, of course, I'm a cleaner, a housekeeper, and I just struggle with all the chemicals that you breathe in. And so whenever you can find things like this that don't use any sprays, any harsh pneumonia, it is a game changer. And I just bought these at Giant Tiger. I think they were $5 and something for a package of 5. And you can't beat that. That's a great deal. And of course, my little friend, she likes to watch everything that I'm doing. And here I am again. I'm just wiping off different areas, you know, that I see that there's a layer of dust, and wiping my glass lamp off, just keeping it fresh, getting that layer of dust off things so it's nice and clean looking. And of course, even for my stainless steel, just a quick wipe down there, and it keeps it nice. And boy, I'm watering my flowers day and night, just to make sure that they don't wilt and wither in this heat. I can't imagine some places in the States how much hotter it is for them. I pulled out my starter, sourdough starter today, and I'm just going to give it a really good stir, and I'm reactivating it with 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of water. and mixing that really, really well because I would like to bake some fresh bread this week. I haven't been baking bread lately, and I really love just having some fresh bread on hand. It just is nice to have a loaf in the freezer, and I always find somebody to give a loaf away to. And it'll take a day. And here I picked up some fresh hazelnut vanilla coffee beans, and wow, you wouldn't believe how good they smell. What a treat. If, of course, we're always trying to cut back on our sweets and eat healthier, and so this coffee really makes you feel like you're treating yourself. And friends of ours got us on to trying, real coffee beans, grinding them ourselves, and it is such a nice thing. We are really enjoying it. And of course, here's my friend, Penny, my little cute helper. And it's time for a tea break. I'm just going to sit out here for a few minutes, put my feet up before we have to head out again to the feed store. We had to go to the local feed store and pick up some feed for the chickens. And our next stop is to Walmart, where I need to pick up some yarn, chenille yarn, for my nephew. I'm making him a special blanket for just a certain thing that's coming up for him that's kind of a big deal, and I want him to feel special and loved. So I want to make him a blanket, but I'm just unsure of what color. I know my favorite yarn for kids is chenille, but then I saw this big skein, a double skein of yarn. So this yarn, I've never seen this before. It's called Cover Story, and it's one big bundle there makes a blanket. So I grabbed two because I want to make a generous twin. It was $29.97, and I thought this is perfect. He's gonna love it. Well, here we are, the end of another week. Summer's flying by. I'll be praying over your week ahead, and I'll be thinking about you. And I hope that you'll be back next Sunday for another chat. So you take care, and bye-bye for now.